Makers on the CoyoteMan Show Network.
Welcome to our show. I'm Barbie Johnson.
And I am Tisha Winkler.
We're the Book Breakers
on the CoyoteMan Show Network. And remember to download the CoyoteMan website at www.coyotemanonline.com. And remember to download the Coyote apps at Fire TV, Roku, and your Android apps.
Was that right?
You know it's a lie.
Oh my God. Well, today we have with us Mr. Christopher Irving, and he's going to be talking about his programs that he's re-entry programs. But first of all, Mr. Irving, what was it that got you into community service or servicing the community?
So, initially, I took criminal law in college, undergrad. Mm-hmm. And it started with the first day of class hearing the two basic components of a crime, because it was criminal law. It wasn't tort or civil law. Mm-hmm. And the two basic components of a crime are the guilty mind or mens rea, right, and the actual act, actus rea. And those two components aren't always applied in our community.
Absolutely.
It's just put your damn hands on the car.
Absolutely.
It's like, well, hold up. You didn't have to prove anything. And as we went forward with the classes, I just kept feeling like everything that was told to us, mm-hmm, and everything that we were supposed to perpetuate within the criminal justice system wasn't always applied with any sense of equity in my community.
Okay.
So rather than continue in that system, I decided to study the people within the system and switch to social science.
Wow. Okay. Wonderful.
And then I got locked up.
Oh my God! You want to tell us that story?
I served time in the state system here in Maryland.
My God.
And all of this was after myself also wearing a uniform under policy in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, really.
And so after that, mm-hmm, you know, there was so many points in my life working in the group, again, after incarceration and everything else, I was the educational liaison in a group home, mm-hmm, where we had 12 boys between the ages of 9 and 18, mm-hmm, through social services, not juvenile justice. And so it was almost like watching myself as a young boy make all of the decisions that I made as a child.
Okay.
And you start to realize that children and young adults make decisions out of a sense of survival, mm-hmm, and not necessarily always right or wrong or any moral aptitude. It's Absolutely. Just about trying to get from one day to the next.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And so in running for office was just, I call it the progression of my advocacy, because I started out, I had a radio show on the AM side. Okay. And then I started a re-entry program from the legislative perspective. Okay. And then I just started getting more into my own community and leadership and everything else. And it was, like I said, it was the progression of my advocacy. I didn't want to be in politics or want some position. I didn't need their job. I have my own trucking company.
Okay, you go ahead now.
So,
woo-hoo! What's the name of the trucking company? Maybe somebody need a job. I'm just saying.
Black Eye Transport.
All right, now y'all heard that. Hello? Call him.
Yeah. And so, you know, this has all been just the progression of life, and throughout every step that I've been through, mm-hmm, someone has whether just given me some guidance or actually helped me. So the reason that I have the reentry program is because it's incumbent on me to help other people, because people have helped me.
All right. But like you were saying about the progression of your own life, so you have actually live the injustice of some things that you are trying to fight in the community and mm-hmm, let people know and be aware of those things. So that's that in itself, that's great, but we still need more. So, and it like they say, it takes a whole village to raise a child. So what is it going to take to raise the whole community? So it's still going to take more help and more advocacy, as you were saying. And you can't do it all by yourself. So
That's where my reentry program comes in, because while it takes the village, what it takes is education.
Absolutely.
We have to understand, and it doesn't mean buy into the system, but you have to understand how the system works. If you wake up in a ring, you don't need to understand. You don't have to buy into the whole sport of boxing, but you better know how to fight because you're in the ring.
Absolutely.
And
defend yourself.
That's right. And we're in a system. We live under a system of governance that's based on policy.
Right.
We live in a democracy.
Yeah.
Some people will say, "Oh, well, we're a republic," and that's a different discussion. The fact is that we live under a representative democracy, a form of governance that's based on participation in policy.
Right.
And when we learn how to access those buttons and levers of power, then we can shape legislation that benefits our communities, and we can have those initiatives that are then placed, perpetuated in legislation. They can be funded through the public revenue, the allocations. And see, we don't understand that there's only two jobs of a legislator: is to deal with policy that creates the initiatives and to fund them. Everything else, filling your potholes, and those are all bonuses. Those are actually under those in a city sense,
right,
under the agencies that are run by the mayor. Those aren't your council people. It's just that they're in the same building, so they can access those agency heads to get something done. But the job is to put things in, to create, amend, or repeal legislation, and then to fund the public initiatives.
Okay. All right. You guys out there hear that? And other legislators, hello, need some help here.
So when I say those things, how when we educate the community, it's not always about all of the details of a legislator, but how your vote affects who the legislators will be. Absolutely. We have to get away from, our cell phones make us feel so important because they have the front facing camera now. We're our own paparazzi. But as an individual, my vote doesn't matter. Doesn't matter a single bit. But my ability to speak with you all and to speak to my greater community and start a movement so that we all know what's going on, and then we can all vote on this person, that person, the third. That's when it starts to become more effective.
Absolutely. Joining together, unity.
That's
to
right.
Get it done. Excuse me.
And Mr. Chris, I met you through my father, and I would just like to give a shout out to the Howard Park Association.
Thank you very much. Woo, 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 boom, boom.
Yes,
So can I go back to my old radio days?
Yes.
I used to say boom, boom. Guess who's in the room? So then they started calling me boom, boom.
All right. Oh, it was a boom, boom. No. Yes.
And Mr. Chris, can you let our audience know what made you want to be a part of the Howard Park Association?
So I got the keys to my house on December 10th of 2003. Shortly thereafter, my home was broken into about 3 different times while I'm at work. And so I said that I need to know who all of my representatives were, from the city level to the state level to the federal level. And I began looking them up and getting involved in every aspect of what was going on in my community. And there's a lot going on in Howard Park, which we didn't mention. I'm the chairman of the board for the Howard Park Civic Association. And we've had to fight for some things because we don't have the participation of the legislators in the way that we should have.
Right, absolutely.
Well, one in particular has been pretty comfortable with ignoring the community because we hadn't been speaking up in the way that we needed to. And we're starting to turn that around now.
All right. Come on, everyone in the community, you have to do your part. You have to get out there. You have to let your voice be heard and known. Okay, you can't just stand that. But I was going to ask you that question about what was your position. All right, so moving on to the next one. What was and I can't see without my glasses. I sure can't.
Where we at, number 3?
Did you?
Do you run for any city council or seat in the government? Well, I'm glad you asked that question.
Even though you read it.
Boom, boom. Guess who's in the room? We do this. So there we go. So first, I think the first time, did I run for city council? So I ran for city council, and then I ran for the state central committee, and I don't remember which order that came in first. But it was just about, again, the progression of my advocacy. The state central committee, what a lot of people don't know is they are elected on the ballot at the state level, but it's a non-paid position. And that position has a role in supporting the Democratic Party. I believe there's a Republican state central committee. I believe there is, but the Democratic State Central Committee just supports the party and encouraging people to vote, having voter engagement, activities, and things of that nature. But what happens behind the scenes is that if someone leaves midterm, whether it be a delegate or a state senator, this body then gets to appoint the replacement.
Oh, wow.
In effect, what we have are people who are trying to get on that body. And because most people don't pay attention to this particular election, we've had people getting on that body solely for that appointment opportunity. People trying to get appointed to a seat that they did not win through an actual election. And that's not what the position is all about, and it's not what we should want as a democracy. So, but that being said, you do have some awesome people on the State Central Committee who have been doing great work at getting more people involved in the process and signing up, especially what we call non-conventional voters. Some younger people, some people might have been incarcerated or had other barriers, things like that.
Okay, well, kudos to those people. All right.
And Mr. Wink
and
from the
and
Howard Park Association.
That's right. So can I talk about, can I go into interview mode for 1 second?
Yeah.
Because I need you to tell me a little bit about your dad, because I know my man, Wink Dog.
Yeah.
I know Wink, we many times we'll talk every day.
Yeah.
And it's just about letting me know what's going on, on the blocks, of me trying to let him know, just having a dialogue every day. And as much as I've thought about it as the chairman of the board, this is what we should be doing as neighbors in a community. Hey, did you see what's going on? Did you know what's happening? Do you have some information? And so what was it like having Mr. Wink as a father?
Oh, having Mr. Wink as a father, he always loved cleaning up. He was always not just concerned about his own house, but he was concerned about the whole neighborhood. And I'm like, goodness, come on. But as I got older, I'm getting just like him now.
Well, and you give me some insight, but right before I walked in here, so my daughter, June 10th, just graduated from Forest Park High School, and she's going to Morgan.
Cool.
Woo-woo!
But for the past, probably, she just turned, so she went to prom, turned 17, and then graduated all within a couple of weeks. And she's been going with me to all of these meetings and community events since she was about 7. So for about 10 years. And, a lot of times I think about it and I'm wondering how much time I'm taking away from our relationship. And so that's what I'm listening to is, as the person who's doing things and kind of dragging this one along, you being that one, how has it affected your relationship? And at some point, I know you get older and then you realize the value of it, but do you feel like you missed out on time with your dad?
No, actually, I think even as I'm getting older, we're getting more closer because last year, I used to live with him. So he took me to all the meetings and I was so excited. I was like, did you get paid? And he said, no. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
But they do, the Howard Association, you do awesome work. You're very concerned about your neighbors.
See how she switched that back.
But yeah.
But I want to say this to Mr. Winkler. I'm giving you such a look right now. And you know why. But feel better. We love you.
That's right. That's right.
All right then. Is it break time?
Well, if you want to visit us live, go to www.CoyoteManOnline.com where we get it in.
Yeah, we
about to get the boogie on here.
Absolutely.
It's time for the turn up. I told you we used to do it. You're about to get me back in game time mode.
All right.
time.
All right, we're going to ask you to hold that thought. We'll be right back.
Boom, boom.
Come back.
Get Christopher Irving in the room.
Guess who's in the room?
Yes, it's in the room.
You're watching the Book Breakers on the CoyoteMan Show Network.
We must secure our families. KFG Life Insurance Specialist is a company that partnered with 15 of the top life insurance companies to ensure you get the best pricing, knowledge, and products to suit your family needs. Some people believe that term insurance is better than whole life insurance, while others feel the complete opposite. Some may feel like universal life is the way to go, and others may feel it's better to have a whole life policy. The truth is, neither of the products are better. One just may be more suitable for your family. Our life insurance specialists are not biased, as they are partnered with several life insurance companies. This ensures our clients get the best pricing, education, and products that are suitable for their families. Let KFG Life Insurance Specialist make these decisions easier for you and your family. Our office is located at Security Square Mall, next to Burlington, in the CoyoteMan Show Network. Please call to make an appointment at 443-400-5224 or go to www.lifeinsurancespecialist.org. That's www.lifeinsurancespecialist.org. Let KFG Life Insurance Specialist help you prepare your family in the present, because the future is not promised. Act now.
You're watching the Book Breakers on the CoyoteMan Show Network.
Thank you for staying with us and coming back. We have Mr. Christopher Irving.
Boom, boom. Guess who's in the room?
Well, Miss Tisha, you have another question?
Oh, yes, Mr. Irving. What changes would you like to make in Baltimore City with the high crime rate?
So I hate to let the cat out of the bag.
Oh, let him out.
In my opinion, so the number one issue in Baltimore, as much as we talk about crime in general, and we don't always break that down, the number one issue in the city is reentry. People who have been incarcerated and bring all of those mentalities and ways back to the community. Even when we talk about young boys walk around with their pants sagging. Now, we can debate whether it's true or not, but people always say, well, that comes from prison. So then you tell me how a young boy who's never been to prison is emulating behaviors that you say came from prison. The people who have been incarcerated are able to affect their block or their community in a way that we don't account for. Right. And yet we don't fund, again, think about legislation, how there's initiatives and there's public allocations attached to it. We don't fund those things in the way that we fund the police, that we fund all of these other initiatives in communities. And if you think about it as a demographic, we talk about women's issues and who leads it? Women. As we said, there should not be a room full of men talking about women's issues. There should be women leading women's issues. The same thing is true for LGBTQIA. The same thing is true for immigration. But when we talk about justice reform or reentry, we see people leading that have never been impacted by the issue. And so how can they have solutions or create solutions for a dynamic of people that they've never been a part of? And there are plenty of people, take me out of it. There are plenty of people who have not only been impacted by it, but then they come back and study it. They become proficient in solutions and they want to be involved, but they get boxed out because this is an area of opportunity for people who don't come from this community. We see in Baltimore, a lot of folks move to Baltimore, will run for office on a subject, and if they don't win, then they move on. This is too big an issue that, like I said, the people who are incarcerated are going to go back to the community that they came from. And they're going to impact that community. There are solutions out there. We have to be willing to work with the people and let them lead. good friend of mine, Glenn Martin, he always said, and it's true to this day, the people closest to the problem are closest to the solution, but furthest from the resources.
Right. Isn't that something?
We going for ratings today. We gonna get these numbers going.
Come on up.
We gonna have this show in rotation. I'm trying to throw out some jewels today. I want to get invited back. I want to come back.
Don't worry, you will. So, Mr. Irving, you plan on throwing your hat in the next political arena?
Whoa, easy.
Going too fast, right?
We didn't get all of the numbers back from this one just yet. But so I would say to you that, like I said, if this is the progression of my advocacy, of course you run to win, but winning or not does not stop you from advocating. Yeah, so I won't stop just because I didn't win this time. And the thing is, good. Where I'm from and the way I'm built, you won't outwork me.
Okay.
You will not see me run away because, I didn't win. In fact, I'm just going to show up. I'm just not. That's the quit is not. It's not about that. And again, it's not about me. So, the outcome of one particular race or another is not going to end my advocacy. In fact, I just turn up. Boom, boom.
Yes,
Mr. Irving is in the room.
There we go. See the imprint. You and me sleeping, just wake up in the middle of the night. Boom, boom. Your other half is going to be like, what the hell? Just at that point, do not respond. Christopher Irving's in the room.
What? No.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, my God, no. So, Mr. Irving, how can people reach you if they want to support your efforts and everything? So how can they reach you?
Yes, the name of my program is The Lazarus Rite. For those who know the Bible, the story of Lazarus, who was given a second chance at life.
Yes.
The name of our program is The Lazarus Rite, and our website is www.TheLazarus, The Lazarus Rite, RITE.org. You can always rewind this and get it all again. TheLazarusRite.org.
All right.
But feel free to visit my campaign website because unlike most people who ran for office, I actually put out initiatives, legislative initiatives that I wanted to advance. Feel free to go to Vote Irving, VOTEERVIN.com. And you can see that one of the first bills that I wanted to put in place was a comprehensive bottle bill for Maryland. What does that mean? When you look at the plastic bottles right now, if there's a water bottle around, this is not a prop. This is not a prop. I'm telling y'all, I did not come in here like this. This was right here. I'm just saying. So if you look on this bottle, it says ME, that's going to be Maine, HI, Hawaii, CT, Connecticut, NY, New York, OR, Oregon. Exactly, because Maryland doesn't have a comprehensive bottle bill. So this as an example, what does that do? On Edmondson Avenue alone, I was picking up with the black plastic bags, filling it in a day with just these and the aluminum cans. In cities like New York City, states like New York and the ones that are shown on here, these are 5 cents each. In Oregon, it's 10 cents. What does that translate to look like in Baltimore? No more squeegee kids. Because instead of having to stand there all day trying to run in and out of traffic, they can literally pick up stuff that is just laying on the road and take it to, in New York City, they're like ATM stations where you put it right into the machine and you get cash right out. Or you get a receipt that you can take and get the cash for.
I need to take a trip to New York.
This is one of, so originally I'm from the Bronx. Been in Baltimore close to 30 years, something like that.
Okay.
One of the main things in the 80s that turned New York City around was that bottle bill. People talk about how clean it is now. And at one point, Baltimore had more homicides than the 5 boroughs of New York City. But it started with cleaning the environment. The streets of New York used to be, when I look back at some of the pictures, I'm like, that's what I played on as a kid. And now you see a totally different environment. Yeah, you still have some pockets, but as a whole, you will see people pushing shopping carts with big plastic bags just full of bottles and aluminum cans because they get money that same day.
Wow. That's something.
Ooh.
All right.
You learn
now.
something new every day.
Yes, you do.
And I did not bring that bottle. I'm telling y'all.
It was
We don't use props at the Coyote Man show. We go hard. We go hard. We go hard in the paint.
Who left that there?
We come with no props and we just freestyle. Let's go.
Oh my God. That was my last one.
Oh, what's your last? Oh, I did have one last one. Oh, yeah. What are some things that you enjoy doing on your free time, Mr. Irving?
I haven't had free time in so long because the thing about let me talk about 4-wheelers and dirt bikes.
Okay.
Called the Wheelie Boy. Shout out to Superman. Shout out to Motown.
All
Shout
right.
out to Freddie.
Woo woo.
Shout out to Wheelie Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
These are some of the kids that I started with.
Okay.
Years ago, riding motorcycles when you didn't see groups of bikes on the streets like
Right.
that. When we were getting run off of Quad Avenue back in the days, down where people know where Pulaski Highway is in the impound. But in my free time, I enjoy driving trucks. And the reason I brought up the motorcycles and the dirt bikes is because this is why kids love Tonka toys. We just love those mechanical things. But those things translate into the working world. And if we can get some of these young men training on dump trucks, training on concrete trucks, the ability to operate mechanical equipment, it translates. And there's a way to help get people into a working environment where they're actually getting paid for what they enjoy doing. So I love driving. I love being around trucks, operating equipment and machinery. At this point, I can basically jump in or on anything and operate it after a minute getting familiar with it. And it's fun to me. But I'm still actually working and getting paid for it.
All right then. That's awesome.
Yeah, wonderful.
Okay. So.
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom.
Mr. Irving in the room.
Let's go.
No, our time is up.
Is it? Okay. We keep it short and
Just
sweet.
like that. So, Mr. Irving, we appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Next time, be on time. Let me
Yes,
stop.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Y'all didn't hear that. I was late.
But we appreciate you for all the information you shared with our audience and with us. So just remember, we encourage you to accomplish your dream. I'm Barbie Johnson.
And I am Tisha Winkler
We're the Book Breakers.
on the Coyote Man Show Network.
And we'll see you Monday at 5:30. And thanks to our guest, Mr. Christopher Irving.
Boom, boom. Guess who's in the room? And support this network. This is what we need out here. CoyoteManOnline.com. We need this.